This is crazy, guys. The road is melting. Imagine asphalt bubbling because there's a hot volcano underneath that wants to get through. This is happening in Pozzuoli, in Italy, at the super volcano, in Naples, Campi Flegrei, and it's happening again, but it's never been that drastic before. We've had like sinkholes open up, melting holes open up in the road, and then steam coming out, especially around a dealership. But what I'm showing you today is crazy, guys. Really, really crazy. So grab a coffee and stay with me. We know the historical construction of this Brady seism, the reconstruction at Campi Flegrei, about what happened at the Monte Nuovo when this mountain that you still see today, the crater, was erupting. That's the last eruption in 1538. That result that they got from that tells us that we must prepare for the possibility of an eruption. Check my playlist about Campi Flegrei. I have the latest studies there. I'll also put some in the end screen. But new research that has constructed 3,000 years of Brady seism and activity at Campi Flegrei. It disproves the theory that these phenomena have always existed. They're not normal. They only exist before eruptions. And this is escalating, guys. The fumaroles at the Solfatara crater, this is near this road, the Via Antiniana, has gone up to 165 degrees Celsius. Just as a comparison, the last 2 years, we were always, the fumarole temperatures been between 94 and 95 degrees Celsius. They're measuring this roughly 10 to 14 feet away from the steam from these fumaroles, these hot gases that are emitted. They can't get closer. But now, 165, like at least 70 degrees more, has almost doubled. That is insane. We have accelerating earthquake swarms. We have accelerating land rise since last year, still with 1.5 centimeters. And the volcano is telling them, I'm melting your infrastructure. Maybe you should leave. At least leave the area that's the direct red zone. Because from all sides, the studies are coming in and are telling us we cannot rule out an eruption. Most likely it will be a phreatic eruption, but that doesn't calm me down, guys. Because I tell you, Monte Nuovo had a phreatic eruption first. And there's also not going to be enough warning time to evacuate people. So let me know in the comments. I've made a poll about this recently. I'll show it to you again. You guys, you also seem to think that they better leave. I mean, start the process, right? Start the process, at least save as many as you can. Aside from the fact that these buildings will collapse if there's a stronger earthquake that's preceding an eruption. Instead of investing the money to reinforce these buildings, build somewhere else where it's safer for these people. I know this is heartbreaking because it's so beautiful, but look at these pictures. It's all over the newspapers today. I looked at the Italian newspapers and they show us this road that really looks like it's melting. It is melting. The asphalt is melting and something's underneath. And the problem is, what is underneath? What's going to happen? Is there already a bigger sinkhole that has been created by a fumarole? You don't want to drive over that. Something could open up at any time. We've had cracks open up on that road. We've had fumaroles coming out. You see a VW dealership in steam. You see commercial buildings surrounded by these fumaroles on the side of the road, right on the road. It's absolutely crazy. And the interesting part is, and I'm not saying this was a cover up or this was keeping the lid on. I'm always laughing when I say keeping the lid on, but that off the volcano, but also on the story. When this happened a few months ago, they said, no, it's nothing to worry. This is just a manhole that broke open. And they wanted to give us the impression, nothing to see here, move on. It's not the volcano. This is nothing to worry about. They paved over it, they repaired it, then it happened again, then they repaired it, and now it's really, really big if you see that asphalt bubble. So what we see these images in the newspapers. We also see thermal images that one newspaper has published. And that's an interesting image because you really see how the heat is distributed underneath this road. So don't tell me this is no reason for concern, because obviously there's more heat in various places at this volcano than the usual suspects, the usual fumaroles, the Boca Grande Fucarole near Solfatara, on the edges of the Solfatara. But there's more. So this volcano is not getting calm again. It's the opposite. And also scientists are saying, let's not fool ourselves. This thing is active. And this time, it seems the INGV is also starting to okay, we can't leave this alone anymore. We really should study this more intensely. So they have dispatched technical teams to actually look at that. And because this is not only melting, it looks like it's boiling. And the Via Antiniana is one of the main roads that basically runs alongside the crater, the Solfatara crater and Mount Gauro. Now I have to take a break because Rudi is drinking. I think you can hear that. He's taking his time. So citizens are alarmed because they're worried that this is directly linked to the Brady seismic activity, which would mean it's accelerating. And it is, in my opinion, directly linked to that activity. Because since the other fumaroles have gotten so hot, this area probably also has gotten hotter and more intense. That's why it looks like the road is boiling. Yes, it isn't the first time, but if we compare it to previous years and months, it has worsened in the recent month. June 5th, sinkhole opened up. A sulfur fumarole was coming out, spewing out a lot of sulfur. And that happened, maybe there's a correlation, shortly after an intense seismic swarm that had the highest earthquake with a magnitude 3.2. But as I mentioned, municipality of Pozzuoli said, calm down, just a blown manhole, nothing to worry about, no sinkhole, no subsidence of the road. But the Vesuvius Observatory, that is part of the INGV, they're local. They surveil this volcano 24/7. One of, if not the best surveilled volcano in the world because it is so dangerous. It's probably the most densely populated volcano. They live right on the volcano with more than 6 million people in the greater Naples area. So they're looking at this. They decided to conduct an in-depth investigation. They're sending their teams out to Via Antiniana. So hopefully the INGV can validate where this is coming from, because right now it is speculation, although it seems to be pretty clear if we look at the location, how close this is to the Solfatara, where we see most of the epicenters in this area and around, where we see most of the fumaroles, the highest gas emissions, CO2 emissions, sulfur, fumaroles, and all that stuff. And right now, the earthquakes keep coming. If you look at the current list of the earthquakes, that's just today. I mean, 1.0, 1.2, 1.2, 2.0, 1.1. These are only the ones above 1. We probably have way more. We had some on the 28th, and then 25th, we had a larger earthquake swarm with over 35 earthquakes. To me, it's continuously rumbling. You can't tell this swarm ended, the next one begins. It's continuously rumbling there and shaking the residents. I mean, if I was the volcano, I would say, gosh, guys, What more do I have to tell you? Because with other volcanoes, these are alarming signs that something is coming. And that's why we see all these new studies being published and they pop up. Because now the scientists from all over the world are like investigating this thing and trying to understand it so that they could give us a better prediction. And every study that they release is like, yeah, eruption is possible, strong earthquake, but nothing's happening, guys. Nothing is happening. So I will post a poll for you on my site. You'll see it pretty soon. And I want you to answer that. Do you think that the authorities are still downplaying the problem? So watch my latest studies that I have reported about. I'll put this in the end screen. I have a Campi Flegrei playlist. But there's something going on the West Coast right where I am. A very mysterious cluster of earthquakes, more than usual. And I'm right there still. I'm about to leave because I think this could trigger the Cascadia fault, ? Because it is related to that. So over 2,600 earthquakes in one day, over 19,000 earthquakes in a week. This is absolutely concerning. I've made a video about this and you see live pictures of where I am, and because I'm right there basically. It really wasn't planned, but I'm on the pulse for you. So check this out in the end screen as well. If you want to fill me up with coffee, guys, to keep me going, link is in the description, buymeacoffee.com/silky. Thanks for you supers. Thank you members. More is coming very, very soon.